It's a beautiful summer evening in July. Blue skies, sunshine. I'm on my bicycle, heading home from work. Saving a little money on gas, getting a little exercise. Couldn't ask for a better way to commute until something like this happens. I'll tell you more about this crash in a minute, but first, let me tell you about some other bicyclists that weren't so lucky. July 12th, police say a black Dodge Ram pickup hit and killed a 47-year-old Madison Heights man who, police say, may have been riding to work. An anonymous tip led police to a nearby home where they found a truck with front-end damage. They charged 31-year-old Christopher Jellish with failure to stop at an accident when at fault, causing death, a 15-year felony. In Grand Rapids, bicyclist dies in collision with car. Canton, Michigan, bicyclist hit by vehicle, killed. And July 30th in Ionia County, a car hit 5 cyclists, 2 dead, 3 severely injured. 42-year-old Mandy Ben faces 2 felony counts of driving while intoxicated, causing death. They were on a bicycle tour raising money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I've seen it definitely get worse. What I certainly have seen, really have gotten worse, is the aggressiveness with the driving, the speeding of the driving. Tom
Page is a retired Los Angeles police officer. Now back in his hometown of Detroit, he leads group bicycle rides all over the city. He has also done training for law enforcement in a number of different areas, including how to help officers better understand bicycle laws and how to help those officers get bicyclists and motorists to share the road.
A lot of impatience, that either running lights, stopping at lights and then choosing to go, ignoring traffic control devices such as and signs.
This is attorney Bryan Waldman. One of his specialties, the laws regarding bicycles.
Many people are surprised they're not motor vehicles under Michigan law. They're their own separate type of vehicle. Mopeds, scooters, pedestrians, they all have a place.
He says everyone has the right to use the road.
It's an absolute right. It's contained right in the vehicle code,
which says bicyclists have the same rights and are subject to the same duties as motorists.
Bicycles traffic, just like someone walking is considered traffic in the street. And motorists have to pay attention whether it's someone crossing the road or someone riding their bicycle, someone on a motorcycle or other motor vehicles.
But the laws have to be enforced if they're going to do any good.
Deterrent effect that, look, I might be stopped. If you take that away from things, that only serves to allow the kinds of aggressive driving and the other bad driving that can particularly pose a hazard to bicyclists.
Opened up my email this morning and saw that in Kent County, another cyclist was killed.
Jeff Carrick is also a retired police officer and now works for the League of Michigan Bicyclists. He's the education director and also teaches law enforcement classes.
And that's kind of a typical day for me. I open up my email and I get another alert that a cyclist in Michigan was killed.
In 2017, there were more than 1,700 bicycle-involved crashes. 21 were fatal. In 2020, the number of crashes went down, but the number of deaths went up. 38 cyclists were killed. Working with lawmakers, the League just helped pass the state's 3-foot passing law, which says motorists must allow at least 3 feet when passing a bicycle. Right now, the League is working on an enhanced distracted driving law. After all, distracted drivers don't just hit cyclists and pedestrians.
If it's safer for cyclists, it's generally safer for the motorists too, and it's generally safer for pedestrians. So it's not a zero-sum game.
But Jeff says passing and enforcing laws is just one part of the equation.
Bike lanes and infrastructure are a huge part of the problem that we have currently.
Jeff says our roads are built for cars and designed for speed over safety.
We live in a very car-centric state. Detroit's the motor city, right?
And road designs don't always take cyclists and pedestrians into consideration.
What we do see are roadways built for a specific speed. It's safe for automobiles, but it doesn't look at crash zones outside of the curbs. It doesn't look at placement of light poles and bus stops and all the other pieces to the roadway.
It's not just for bicyclists.
Ultimately, the benefit for the driver is that they're going to get safer roadways, they're going to get smoother roadways.
But even bike lanes and laws won't protect cyclists from some drivers. The thing that surprised me the most was the sheer violence of the crash. The driver of the car that hit me, 44-year-old Blessing Duru, was charged with double parking. Court records show Southfield police let her off the hook for the original failure to yield citation. She still has to pay a fine, but no points on her license. While we were waiting for the police to arrive, she told me, I stopped at the sign, I looked for cars, there were no cars, so I went.
A motorist in any situation has an obligation to drive in a way that's reasonably safe with regard to all roadway users.
I was lucky, really lucky. I hobbled away from my crash with nasty bruises, a scraped up knee, and elbow. Some cyclists don't get to walk away.
Now, about that ticket that was reduced to double parking, Southfield Police Chief Elvin Barron says some changes will be made.
Yeah, in fact, he's directing his officers to stop reducing charges when a person is hurt. Effective immediately, he says, the officer representing the police department will not offer any citation reductions for at-fault vehicular accidents. For this week's Bicycle Safety Enforcement Campaign, the Office of Highway Safety Planning awarded grants to several Michigan communities for increased patrols, including Detroit and Ann Arbor.
As for Ken, he reached out to the lady who hit him. Her husband called back, declined the interview, and said, hey, accidents happen. He's just glad no one was seriously injured or killed.